I think I had gone through a long period of burnout. I had very low energy. I was eating convenience. Like my digestion was not great. My mood wasn't great. Motivation, waking up tired, which is obviously not great, not sustainable. So I really wanted to revitalize my life going into this next chapter, having been married, thinking about eventually having kids, knowing what was going on in my body and understanding how I could improve it and have more confidence in day to day was at the forefront of my mind. Looking back, times where I've gotten into fitness, it's never been all encompassing. I've been to doctors and expressed having like gut issues, for instance. For about a year before we started working together, I had really bad reflux. And I just found that the health professionals I went to were giving me Band-Aid solutions. I would go to the gym and a couple of times I had a PT, but it's half an hour out of the week and it's a lot of money to invest when they're looking at what you look like, but not actually what's going on inside. So it just felt like a lot of different pieces that weren't coming together and working in unison. And the more information that you're overloaded with, I think it just grows and grows until you get to a point where how are you meant to know where to start, right? We started looking inside and doing blood work. We were talking about basic things like my morning and night routine and how that was impacting the greater part of my day. Having something that actually backed up what I was feeling and being validated, then you understand why we're feeling how you are, and it doesn't so much feel like a failure, but something that can be solved when you're taking the right approach and not just throwing things at the wall and hoping something sticks, right? And we not that long ago had a really hard conversation that was super uncomfortable about how I was speaking to myself negatively without even realizing it. I wasn't supporting myself. I wasn't thinking that I could do it. Have a bit of a perfectionist outlook towards things. Like if I can't do everything, then I'm not going to do anything at all. Like if I can't do a pull-up because I don't have two arms, then I'm not even going to try. Whereas now we are working on that. And even though some days just showing up to the gym, maybe not finishing the set, showing up is better than nothing at all. And in changing my mindset to do that, I've achieved so much. Top one change is definitely taking control and action. We had the focus 1 week on what that actually manifested itself as. Say, for example, this week is I chose to go to the gym. Even though I only had an hour, I still went, did half of my workout, went home, got dressed, and I was at work early. Whereas what it would have looked like, say, before we started this journey was waking up thinking I don't really have enough time to go to the gym, like I'm just going to skip it, laying in bed, scrolling my phone, and then still ending up going to work late because I just had no motivation to conquer the day. Food, like breaking it down into really simple terms, putting in 30 grams of protein every meal, looking at the colors on my plates, such simple changes that make such a big difference. Positivity, like shifting my mindset has bled into like every aspect of my life. And I think that's a key thing with health is when you feel good about yourself and feel good about what you're achieving is only going to lead you to even better places than where you are. We started with blood work, made some changes, looked at my diet too to see other ways we could get nutrition in to help boost those things which were really having an impact on my mood and energy, as well as my digestion. The nervous system, just the other week we looked at cycle tracking, and one of my favorites actually was the session on the inner critic. And understanding that you are not your thoughts, I think was a really light bulb moment for me. I think for me, one of the big turning points was when we discussed boundaries on keeping promises to yourself. It's a decision that you make to put your health first and to shift your mindset into a place that's what future you would want, right? Turning things on its head and thinking about it from a different perspective is something that really has completely changed so many things that I do day to day. I've had so many conversations with friends and like given them insights that they didn't even realize. Like educating them on what the impacts are long term that your GP doesn't really get into the nitty gritty of. Health is so individual. It is not even just different for women. It's different for each individual woman. I would describe the shift as inspiring, holistic, and persistent. It's not one thing. It's not one day. It's over time. And before you know it, you look back and it's a completely different person sitting in front of you. My biggest shift, I think, for me, health when I started really felt like a chore, working it into every day. But now I look at health in a way that it's an advantage to life in general. Like, it's how I can live the best life possible, how I can make myself feel better, how I can make myself a better version for everybody else. And at the end of the day, like, it's not hard work. It's just adding little bits into your day that make you a better person. And the more you do, the easier it gets.